There are three things humans need to survive: oxygen, water, and me. I've been around since way before you. You can see my work in almost anything alive. Wherever I go, I offer comfort and restoration. I overwhelm the senses in order to heal you. I rebuild your mind and body at night. I keep you healthy throughout your entire life. That's why Shakespeare called me chief nourisher in life's feast. And artists immortalized me. For some, I can loom just out of reach, yet others willingly refuse me. Either way, you must return to me night after night, whether you want to or not. I am sleep, and it's time we talked.
What is sleep?
Wow. A blessed state of mind of letting go of the control of your consciousness.
Sleep is this magical kingdom that, I want to get into.
Sleep is a calming of the body, like you're floating.
You are free of the pressures of life.
It's something that you have to do to be able to survive this world.
Once I learned that sleep is what the body needs in order to heal, that's when the dots started to connect.
I know how good sleep can make you feel, not just as an athlete, but as a person.
If you're well rested, you're more attentive. You can make more decisive, focused decisions.
Even though you all know me, how much do you actually know about me? Do you know that I use a clock inside your brain that runs on light and darkness? You probably know that I exist to conserve energy. But do you know how I slow down your brain waves for hours at a time? Or how I shape your memories? With all I can do for you, why would anyone want to miss a single night? Maybe it's not that simple. Maybe you're not in control. But why are there more of you struggling with me than ever before? And how can we reconcile when things go wrong?
It's like almost 11 o'clock p.m. The anxiety starts to kick in around this time when I'm getting ready for bed. It's terrifying. I get that feeling, that sick feeling in the pit of my stomach where I'm like, oh, is this gonna be the night where I finally get some rest? Or is this gonna be the same old, same old? Most of the time I get 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. And that is just simply not enough, especially for my job. Being a salon owner is exhausting. I work, anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a day. I work on my feet. I have to use my creativity. I have to be on my game being a hairdresser. Jen, are you ready? When I'm tired, my mind is foggy. I am confused. I can't articulate what I'm thinking or feeling. Just live one day in my shoes and you understand how maddening it is, how frustrating. You know, I'm just tired. I've been tired for 20 years.
It's been 8 years.
I think the last time I had a great night's sleep was about 5 years ago.
Well, sleep has been an issue for me for many years now. I think maybe 15.
Why? Why can't I go to sleep? What's the mystery and how do I get the key?
To understand why some of us can't sleep, we have to go back to the very beginning. Sleep seems to be an evolutionary adaptation. For any organism to be able to restore cellular function, the organism is systematically removed from engaging with the environment to rebuild, repair, reorganize the cells. We think about sleep as very much part of the brain, but evidence is showing that not only do very simple organisms still sleep, even organisms without brains need sleep.
Sleep is a code that's written into all organisms. Because we live on this rotating rock, which is Earth, and because there are alternating cycles of light and dark, all organisms have developed these cellular clocks. These are time-keeping systems that we have in our brain. And what these clocks do is they anticipate the day and night.
Humans, like many other animals, evolved to sleep at night because that's when we are most vulnerable for predation and when we are least able to engage with our environment.
For human beings, you need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep to feel well rested. Definitely, if you're getting less than 6 hours, you're likely to be impaired. For some people, despite being or staying in bed, you don't get enough sleep. And it's affecting your life in a way that you're not able to do what you normally should be able to do. That is insomnia. And for people who have insomnia, it causes true misery.
It's about 2:20 in the morning, and I am wide awake. My mind is churning. It's time to get up in about 4 hours.
So you want me to try the new recipe or just make the regular old one? Okay. My usual, okay. You stayed on the couch all night?
All night. I have a long history with insomnia.
Some nights I wake up and she's gone. Some nights I wake up, she's gone, but then she's back in the morning. We call her the wandering Jew.
Oh, you started that.
I started it. It sounds like me. When she can't sleep, she gets up and she has a big diaspora all by herself and she moves into another room until she can maybe get to sleep, maybe not.
I'm a psychotherapist. I've been working in my hometown for over 30 years. I'm always looking for more information about what can help with sleep disorders, not just for myself, but also for my work. I did sleep well for most of my life. I would jump in bed, practically dance around, I'm so happy. Sleep was my friend back then. And then things changed. After Emily was born, I just couldn't sleep. There was a lot of publicity going on because of a local kidnapping of a little girl, and that was it. I just became hypervigilant and stopped sleeping. For years, I would be wandering the house all night.
Insomnia can come from many different causes. It could come from a stressful life event, from the loss of a loved one, or something great like the birth of a child. For example, a lot of new parents are constantly on alert, waiting through the night to listen for every sound because they're worried or concerned. But what happens is over time, that takes on a life of its own. Our brain starts learning that being in bed trying to sleep is the time when we're supposed to be on alert. The brain is a pattern recognition machine. By pairing that alert state with being in bed over and over and over and over again, that can create the pattern that becomes insomnia. even if you're relaxed and tired, just being in bed, just trying to sleep, can cause the very activation that keeps you awake and unable to sleep.
Now I might end up with only 2 hours of sleep, maybe 3. I might just go all night with no sleep. I discovered that my dad really struggles with it too. As he aged and his brain aged, the consequences that he suffered, the cognitive decline was significant and horrifying and surprising. It's alarming what they're finding happens to the brain without the adequate amount of sleep.
Sleep is absolutely vital for all cognitive function. No aspect of your health is spared if you get less sleep.
When you close your eyes and go from awake to asleep, your brain doesn't go from on to off. Your brain goes into a different state, actually a collection of different states that fluctuate through the night and do things that it cannot even do when it's awake. One of them is the consolidation of memory. We take information from our experiences during the day, but not all of it stays. Some of it gets dumped. Your brain sorts through them, organizes them, connects them, finds connections to your history, which helps you navigate the future. Another thing that sleep does is it allows for something called the glymphatic system to work. This is a system where toxins that build up in the brain during the day are removed. The brain is very protected, and it's very hard to clean it out. What this glymphatic system does is it actually increases the space in between the cells to make it big enough so that these big molecules that are sticky, that can cause problems, can filter through and be flushed out through the cerebrospinal fluid. Sleep loss or sleep fragmentation can inhibit the glymphatic system from working properly. If unchecked, the buildup of these toxins can lead to consequences such as neurodegenerative diseases like dementia or Alzheimer's disease.
I want to age as well as I can, and that means taking care of my brain.
Perhaps you're starting to realize I'm just as complex as you are, if not more. But how do things break down between us? What is it that breaks the cycle? What's keeping you awake?
I've never really understood what a good night's sleep feels like. I want to make change because I know how devastating it can be to my body. Diabetes runs in my family, and that was one of the things that I saw, that people that weren't getting sleep started having signs of that. My problem is that my mind is really overactive. I've worked as a reporter for years and years and years, and it's just my personality is to be curious. I like to know what's going on in the news, but the last few years have been especially hard. Just so much social unrest that I absorbed personally. There just has felt like an onslaught of attacks on people. And I fell into a lot of those categories. All of that stirs so much in my mind. I want to help, there's hurt, there's anger, there's all these kind of emotions that don't just shut off when the 10 o'clock news is over. So I'm still trying to figure out how to shut my brain off.
If we want to understand why the brain won't just detach and unwind and shut down when we want it to, we have to understand the sleep-wake cycle.
We divide sleep into different sleep stages. So it's rapid eye movement, REM sleep, light sleep, and deep sleep. That sleep cycle may repeat 4 to 5 times a night, and then you wake up. To stay awake right now, your brain is producing a lot of different waking signals. One of them is a protein that wasn't discovered until 1998, called orexin.
While we're awake, the orexin system is active, and what it's doing at these synapses is perpetuating that wake system and keeping us awake when we want to be awake. In that sense, orexin isn't what wakes us up, but it is what keeps us awake.
As orexin levels dip later in the day, this allows the brain's chemical balance to shift towards sleep. Wherever they flow, sleep-promoting chemicals press the snooze button on the brain's waking activities. This sends your brain waves into slower, deeper rhythms that hypnotize your thought process, setting the stage for a good night's sleep. But when we close our eyes, that doesn't mean our brain stops receiving and processing information. That goes for our bodies too.
Stress or pain anywhere in the mind or the body can trigger the release of hormones like cortisol or substances like adrenaline that can increase activation in the brain and keep our wake systems active.
This overactive waking signaling basically confuses the balance of the brain's sleep-wake cycle.
Too cold. Too hot. Stressed out. Stirred up. Is there an easy fix?
You know, I brush my teeth, wash my face, hope for the best. Oh, and I have some tricks up my sleeve. Let's see, some melatonin, deep sleep, lavender, some other sleep tincture that I've tried. This thing says sleepy time. None of this honestly is working, but these are things that I've tried.
I do try to take advice from doctors and even looking on the internet. I mean, I can list 20 different things I've tried just in the last year.
I exercise like a fiend in an attempt to try to be tired enough to sleep.
My TV is off, blackout curtains.
Anything. I tried a flotation tank, sensory deprivation.
Nothing that I have tried has worked.
There are no shortages of sleep tips on the internet. These suggestions are basically based on sleep hygiene. The principles of good sleep hygiene, like having your bedroom cold, dark, quiet, not having technology in the room, which are good sleep habits that everybody should follow, but are not effective treatment for the disorder of insomnia.
My doctor has prescribed medications that just simply did not work. I've tried at least 6 to 8 over-the-counter things, did not help me at all.
I've tried melatonin, which doesn't seem to work.
Melatonin can be found at nearly every drugstore and supermarket. Melatonin is a hormone that tells your body it's nighttime. It can be very useful for jet lag, but it's not a very good treatment for insomnia. Because most people who have insomnia, their body already knows it's nighttime. They still can't sleep. Often people turn to melatonin thinking it's a sedative or a sleeping pill. That's not what it's for. And when people are using it to treat insomnia, often the problem is they start taking higher and higher doses, thinking that more will work better. It turns out that that's not true. All you get is really more daytime side effects, like daytime grogginess, without it really improving your sleep too much. And it's very frustrating for people to hear all of these suggestions from everybody, including the internet, that this is how you fix insomnia. By the time people have an insomnia disorder, they need more than just that. It's not just about relaxing anymore. Their sleep-wake system is disrupted.
A lot of people don't take it serious when I say that I have insomnia.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hi, guys.
I hear, well, you need to do this, or you need to do that, or you need to not ever drink caffeine again. Or you need to make sure that you're doing this or that before you go to bed, and you're doing this wrong, KK, or you need to be doing this, KK. And I get shoved over to the side like it's no big deal.
Okay.
But it is very serious, and it does keep me from doing things that I love to do.
We're gonna go ahead and take off. Bye. Bye. Bye.
It's already affected my social life quite a bit and my relationship with my boyfriend, that I'm scared that I'll lose relationships. You know, I'm afraid that people will stop inviting me places because I don't go.
With no quick fix, the you know begins to slip into a vicious cycle of days and nights without end. Your life becomes a run-on sentence, a relentless, singular thought seeking punctuation. The longer the cycle continues, the more you disappear.
If I could ask sleep anything, I would say, what did I do to you to deserve this?
Why are you so freaking hard to pin down?
Are we going to continue to do this forever?
It turns out we have been doing this forever. Ever since life on Earth put us together, we've become partners in a cosmic dance none of us can control. So who is in control?
As much as we try to control sleep, it's actually evolution that's in control. So how is that? Evolution needed to figure out a system to support sleep when we needed it, but also extend wakefulness when it ensured survival. Imagine we're running from a predator and it's chasing us, and then our internal clock says, oh, it's bedtime, time to go to sleep. A system in our brain can override our drive to sleep for quite a long time to ensure we get to a place where we can disengage from the environment safely. The amygdala is a very old structure in our brain that processes emotion, especially alarming emotions like fear. The amygdala works with other brain structures throughout the cortex to create this alarm system. That's great from an evolutionary standpoint. It allowed our ancestors to survive and reproduce, but now we're here in the modern world. And most of us aren't being frequently chased by predators. Instead, we're being chased by deadlines, family stress, work stress. Our brain can't tell the difference, though. This is why evolution, at the end of the day, is in control. It's evolution that gave us this tool for survival. The only problem is sometimes it backfires. And when this happens at night and it interferes with sleep, it can cause insomnia. So if we're going to understand and eventually conquer insomnia, we're going to have to better understand and gain more control over this system so that it can help us when we need it, but get out of the way if we don't.
Your ability to make choices is a crucial part of what makes you human. Making humane choices requires certain faculties like empathy, creativity, and good judgment. But insomnia sabotages those faculties.
You can take the container on the bottom. I've been a nurse now 27 years. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, Brian. How are you? Excellent. We're doing pop-up clinics, working with the underserved community. Every day we save a life, and it doesn't matter if it's 1, 2, or 5. Y'all doing okay? Good, 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 good. We're caretakers. For me, that's natural, but there's a lot that comes with that. I'm meeting with my partners to discuss what's happened this week and what we're going to do the coming week.
The things, Kelly, that I wanted to think through a little more, the homeless piece, so if we can figure that out. I think the homeless is an ideal place to use the bus. So what, you have some general thoughts there?
It's gonna be a heck of a day. Thank you. You feeling okay? Good. It's the task of what needs to be done that keeps me going. The clinic there, it's in one of the highest underserved areas, and as far as health equity is concerned.
And and the thing, I want you to keep thinking, Kelly, about what are the things that would help us to be as impactful in as many different areas as possible going forward. And that down, yeah.
I've not shared my insomnia with many people, because I feel as though that's my issue. No matter how much sleep that I didn't get, I want to make sure that I'm thinking it through, that I'm proactive, Everything's right, that I'm going to the right place, that I have the right things, that I tell the right people. But not having that sleep, there's a lot of cover-up. A lot of cover-up.
When you don't get enough sleep, the brain that's just behind your forehead, which is responsible for good judgment, for multitasking, is preferentially impaired. And at the same time, your emotional brain becomes overactive. So when you're sleep deprived, you're likely to make decisions in which you're overly emotional while the good judgment part of your brain is not contributing very much.
Insomnia is a 24-hour problem. Not only does it start at night with problems initiating sleep or staying asleep throughout the night, it spills over into the daytime. Whether it's engaging in certain conversations, being able to work your job to the best of your ability, or decision making, it has all types of consequences.
I have a very outgoing, bubbly personality most of the time.
Morning, baby.
But when I'm exhausted, I get a little quiet.
How are you this morning?
You don't talk to me, you know, I don't like to talk in the morning. I know with my boyfriend, I'm very quick to snap at him.
I'm just trying to be nice.
If anybody tries to talk to me and I'm still really tired, sometimes I can be really hateful.
That'll make you feel better.
I hope so, something needs to.
All right.
All right, bye, baby.
Bye-bye.
You look to family and friends to be supportive. But when you're not your best self, you can end up pushing them away. And that doesn't help anyone. Without energy or motivation, what's left of you for the people who count on you?
My business is making Costa Rica the world's first country to run 100% on renewable energy. But it's taken over my sleep, and it's affecting my family too.
Pienso que pensando y cosas en su cabeza de sus proyectos, y cuando hay problemas o cosas que no se pueden hacer en el momento, eso también lo tortura, corta su sueño, ¿verdad? Perla, venga, Lulu.
Sylvia is my wife, and she's concerned. She's pretty active in her own foundation right now. She tries to keep the population of animals on the street off the street. She's done 600 adoptions in 5 years.
Pues sí me gustaría que mi esposo me ayudara más con los animales porque ya es mucho trabajo. También tengo mi propio trabajo, entonces muchas ocasiones voy terminando hasta en la tarde de limpiar, de dar de comer. Él duerme a veces mucho de día. Entonces quiere decir que sí puede dormir, nada más que tiene ese cambio del reloj invertido. Creo que tiene que proponérselo.
People who are more naturally night owls can be more likely to develop insomnia because they try to go to bed earlier than their body wants to. If they're naturally a night owl and they try and go to bed early over and over again and can't, and make the bed and falling asleep stressful over time, it can even drift them later and later and later because now they have all this extra activation to overcome, and now it's become insomnia. One thing that a partner can do that is not helpful is expect change to happen right away. Sleep involves a lot of learned processes that require unlearning. And this process can be slow. It took a long time to get into this position. Just as you wouldn't expect someone to lose 20 pounds in a week, you wouldn't expect someone to fix a 20-year sleep problem in a week.
I'm trying to get the final touch on this document for one of the congresswomen who's promoting a new law. This is the law for Costa Rica to create jobs, to create our own energy. We don't have to import it.
¿Qué pasa con usted? ¿No tiene que estar durmiendo?
Yeah, I do.
Pero ahí
And
estás.
I'm finishing up. I'm really not sleepy at all, which is in certain respect annoying, but it's also like, well, I might as well work, you know? I really appreciate the idea of, having like a normal life and going to bed at a normal time and getting up at normal time, having a routine actually, which I've never had, so I don't really know how to do it. The people that I'm surrounding myself with these days, they are multitaskers. A lot of people brag that they only get a few hours of sleep, and that's normal. Puts a little pressure on me. The work I'm doing, it's all great, this is great for the world. What about me and my family? What am I sacrificing?
Steven, ¿qué estás haciendo? Deja esa computadora, vaya a dormir.
I agree with you. I'll be right there.
When it comes to entrepreneurs, there is that hustle culture where they want to be working all the time. And of course, the easiest thing to ignore is sleep. There's a difference between working longer and working effectively. And when people say, well, I can get by with less sleep, I take that with a grain of salt because their judgment is impaired. They really don't know what they're talking about.
The revelation of sunlight, the sense of a beginning, a burst of resolve and purpose. Do you remember celebrating the new day instead of lamenting it?
Yeah, so Steve, look, we're gonna get it in time. I'll have it to you in, I don't know, half an hour. All right? All right, good. I was the boss. Wants to know why everything's taking so long. If I didn't have the energy drinks, I don't know where I'd be. Coffee doesn't work anymore, caffeine doesn't work, so it's all energy drinks. I've literally been fired for falling asleep at a job. I was working on an edit, I was trying to hear the audio, I probably closed my eyes to listen more intently, and I fell asleep and I was snoring and the wrong person walked by. And at the end of that day, I got called into the office and it was supposed to be a 4-week gig, and they're like, yeah, so you're done today. I work in television production as my day job, that's what supports me, and then I have a night job, as it were. The Legendary Pot Roast is the name of a tribute band I have. The madness in the mirror is closer than it appears. We mostly do the music of Meat Loaf and Jim Steinman. So the play is on the fact that Meat Loaf, pot roast. And you've left down all your guards. If you continue on, you won't last long. It's written in the cards. Last night was amazing. I had a great show. Decided to take a walk home. And I got home, exhausted from the show, threw everything in the corner, laid down in bed, tried to go to sleep. The energy of the night was just keeping me awake. Sleep wasn't gonna happen. So I decided I'll go out for a walk, maybe that'll tire me out, maybe I'll grab a bite to eat.
Your chronotype is this natural, intrinsic predisposition you have to prefer to be active in the morning or to be more active at night. Your chronotypes comes from the length of your PER3 gene and can change as we age, which is why many night owls become early birds in later years. If you sleep when your chronotype expects it, you're more likely to fall asleep faster, have fewer awakenings throughout the night, and even sleep more deeply. This may be a result of evolution. When we were hunters and gatherers, you wanted some night owls because they would be standing at guard to make sure we're safe at night, and then you wanted some morning larks who would wake up early and would take over those duties. Understanding your chronotype can help you set ideal bed and wake times and better organize your schedule.
I've always been awake till later hours in the night. There's something very, I don't know if comforting is right, familiar when that energy is crackling through the emptiness of the city. The walking, hopefully gets me tired enough that when I just get home, I'm like, I'm done. I can just finally pass out. It's just a cycle I get caught in. And it's sort of a self-perpetuating cycle.
Hey girl, I'll be with you in a minute.
Hi, Billy. Hi. Hey, Alex. Hey.
When I'm tired, I try really hard to play it off. No matter what's going on, I try to leave that at the door. Okay. My life has changed a lot in the last 2 years with me becoming a salon owner. And so it's just a whole different set of responsibilities. So how are your kids? Are they ready for school or are they still want to do summer?
Oh, they don't want to go back to school.
The biggest challenge is not just getting somebody in your chair so you can make money, but client retention is maintaining those relationships.
Right, sweetie.
Okay. I am definitely a therapist as well as a hair designer. And my clients expect that. So did you have fun when you guys were in Florida?
It was great.
50% of the reason why somebody will come to me to do their hair has nothing to do with how well I do their hair. It's about the relationship that they have with me. And so when you're tired and exhausted, it's hard to maintain those relationships. As the owner, I have to be an example to the others because I don't want them coming in humdrum. So I've got to be on my game constantly. How did you even tell me you wanted your hair done? I don't even
just cut off what needs to come off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do my best to keep you on your game. Stick to the schedule. But when it comes to excelling in your daytime, your performance depends on our ability to work together.
My name is Emma Coburn. I'm a professional track and field athlete, a 3-time Olympian, 9-time US champion, Olympic bronze medalist, world champion, and world silver medalist.
Sleep is really, really important for performance. Not only in our day-to-day lives, but for athletic performance as well.
To be a professional distance runner, it's a lot of work. I run about 90 miles in a week, plus 2 to 3 weight room sessions. And not only is the day-to-day pretty demanding and taxing, we also just have to do it year-round. To rise to the level of being a professional in any sport, you have got it in your DNA that you're a disciplined person. I am very strict about being in bed by 9:30-ish and being lights out at 10. I get a solid 9 hours every single night. And that is something I'm super protective of because it snowballs. If I get one bad night of sleep on a Monday, my Tuesday run is gonna be compromised. And then my Tuesday sleep is often compromised. And by Friday, I have a cold. If you're not fueling your body and you're not sleeping, you can be the most talented person in the room, you can be the hardest working person in the room, but you will get sick all the time, you'll get hurt all the time, you'll be tired all the time. Sleep is very personal, but everyone can do better at it. Everyone can make better choices to prioritize it. Having great sleep makes your next day so much better. Not just as an athlete, but you wake up a better partner, a better parent, a better employee, a better boss. It'll just make you a better version of yourself.
You can't bank time with sleep. If you miss 4 or 5 good nights, you can't make it up in one day. I try to tell all the young guys coming in, Right now, you may not understand, but when you get 6, 7 years in, you start wondering why, you got little aches and pains when you wake up. It starts with how much rest you're getting. It starts with how much recovery you're giving yourself. My troubles with sleep began in college, University of Arizona. We were kind of like a professional basketball team, playing on national TV. Every game, the highlights being on SportsCenter, who performed well, who didn't perform well. The pressures of, being a student athlete, wanting to do well in class, and then you had to do well in the court. If you didn't play up to par, somebody was right behind you ready to take your place. Just trying to decompress is really hard to do at such a young age. Like, you don't know how to process everything that's being thrown at you. So 1 a.m., now your mind starts wandering and, I hope I don't mess this up. I don't want to go back home and be a failure. 2013 was around the time where I started to do a deeper dive into a healthier lifestyle.
You need sleep to be fast. You need sleep to be accurate. You need sleep to get to, the ball on time. Whatever you practice, it's while you're sleeping that memory gets consolidated, and then you're able to use it during actual game time.
My stats from the games where I had the proper amount of sleep versus the stats I had when I didn't, it was like night and day. I was more efficient. I was moving a lot faster, more steals, more rebounds. You're talking about like 40 to 50% improvements when you have the proper night's sleep.
You need sleep for muscle recovery. While you're sleeping, your muscles take in glucose and store it so that's available for you to utilize while you're active the next day. So think about it. If you're sleep deprived and your reaction time is low, if you're inaccurate, if you're taking riskier decisions, then you're likely to get injured.
When you sleep the right way, you experience life at a different level.
When you don't get enough sleep, it can cause worse judgment, worse decisions, riskier bets. In a normal work environment, this can be problematic. But if you're in a life or death situation, if you're in the military, if you're a first responder, if you are a doctor or a nurse trying to take care of somebody, that can have disastrous consequences.
I've had sleep struggles the entire time I've been an adult, probably before that. In the military, you're responsible for lots of lives, you're responsible for lots of equipment, and I could handle it during the day as long as I was rested from the night before. But if I woke up tired, it was gonna be an unbelievable problem. It really kind of came to head in 2003 to the point where it was so bad, I had to go see my doctor to see what help she could provide. I mean, we're having a problem these days with stigma, especially in the US military. People say, I'm just gonna gut it out. I don't need to sleep. Look at me, man, I can go days without sleep. That's just not true. I was responsible for operations in Bosnia and Kosovo, fast forward to 2007, where I was in Iraq as a commander commanding 25,000 soldiers with a battle space the size of the state of West Virginia. I'd wake up tired. I'd wake up unprepared for the day, even though I had a full day ahead of me. And I just knew I couldn't go on like that because I was doing important things. 30% of the general population have sleep-related problems. In the active duty military, it's 41%. And in our veteran population, it's 57%. That's a lot of people. And all those people probably need some help with their sleep-related disorders.
Good morning, good morning. How are you, Dr. Aniver?
Good. How are you? How's your day been?
It's been a tough day. Challenging day. Yeah, so that's her now. She's leaving. And she seems to be okay.
I'm dealing with people in real lives that are being affected. I feel as though I can't give them what they want because I'm so tired. And I've had a couple of days this week. There are certain things that I feel like I need to be on top of, and I was on top of nothing today. It was like everything just crashed.
You think, well, you guys have only had this many hours sleep in a whole week. Surely I'm gonna go to sleep tonight, like tonight's the night.
Even if you don't hear back from me for a while, even if you think I'm not listening at all, keep working on your relationship with me. I'm always a part of you, no matter what kinds of tensions may come between us.
Lo que ella decía, que el proyecto eólico fue el detonante de la más estrés.
Sí, porque siempre cuando usted va a San José, nos quedamos pensando que se viene manejando cansado, ¿verdad? Y siempre maneja en la tarde,
Sí.
pero no ha dormido bien en todo el día.
Súper peligroso.
Sí, es cierto. Ahora ustedes preocupan.
He don't sleep. Sometimes he sleep 2 hours, 3 hours, and we worry every time he have to travel to San Jose. He's tired and he's always like moving the car in one way, one side or the other side because he needs to sleep. For the time that I was a child in high school and now, he's getting worse. It is an issue.
The problem is, sleep may take over whether we want it to or not. We could be engaged in an activity where we know that if we fall asleep right now, we could die. We'll still fall asleep. This happens every day behind the wheel of a car.
Thinking a lot about my uncle. He had the same sleep problems I had. He was only 15 years older than me. I'm starting to gain weight like he did. He had diabetes. We were supposed to go down to Virginia one night. He calls me up, he's not making any sense. Next morning, I asked him not to drive, said I'd give him the ride down to Virginia. He insisted he had a full night's sleep. I said, really, you didn't? You were up, you were moving around, you were calling people. He said, no, I'm gonna be fine. On the way down, he got into a car accident, hit his head, had a concussion. By the end of the weekend, he ended up in the hospital and he never came back out. I don't want to end up the way he did. I've been walking around the city for a couple hours now. I just got to get to bed. Hope that I'm physically tired enough. I know I'm emotionally tired enough, and hopefully I'll just hit the pillow and fall asleep.
Insomnia keeps us dissonant. Keeps you locked into habits that haunt your nights and throw you off during your days. What does it take to break free from the vicious cycle and replace it with a virtuous one? What does it take to reclaim your life and bring us into harmony?
I'm going on a meditation retreat with Emily. We've been talking for a while about just doing a mother-daughter thing, just the two of us. I'm really hoping that a meditation retreat might help me learn how to meditate in a way specifically to help me sleep.
This complaint that patients have that their minds are racing and they keep thinking something over and over again is pretty common. And you can't really command your brain to stop thinking. You can't command your mind to stop racing, which is why practices like mindfulness and meditation can really help. The principles of non-judgment and acceptance help replace those racing thoughts with a more positive mindset. That might help relax your mind and allow sleep to happen.
Begin to soften the gaze and close the eyes if you'd like, whenever you're ready.
I'm here leading a retreat for Margaret and Emily.
I know that with Margaret's history, there is likely an association between the birth of her daughter and her ability to surrender each night to fall asleep. Knowing that her daughter is safe might allow her to really feel that way when she's getting ready to sleep and essentially let go of control. Start to bring to mind a condition that you wish to be free from. And now, from this point of connection, we can begin to slowly let it go. I'll bring in a series of questions now. The first question, what are you most afraid of?
I stay up at night a lot about you. I mean, my anxiety about falling asleep started with you, and it was like totally turned me upside down.
We can't control the terrible things in the world. We can't control what's going to happen to us. And you, I think, are very anxious because you're aware of everything that could go wrong. I think that your primary responsibility is to be true to yourself. And I have never doubted how much you care about me and love me. And I'm very lucky.
I've been pushed by Emily to let go of a lot. You know, concerns about the past, concerns about the future. It's all stuff we can't control for the most part. If I could really apply that to my sleep disorder, that would be the gift.
For many people with insomnia, the harder they try to sleep, the more difficult it becomes. But insomnia is treatable. Really, what needs to change is that relationship they have with their sleep. And so, you know, in addition to mindfulness and meditation, the first-line therapy typically is something called CBTI, or cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia.
CBTI is a set of tools and techniques that help reprogram the body to sleep when it wants to and to gain control over the ability to sleep.
It has different components, like sleep restriction or stimulus control. Patients have to practice the principles of CBTI. And, you know, if they fall off the bandwagon, they just have to climb back on. And that can be a frustrating process.
Most of the time, it does work in people who have insomnia, even chronic, lifelong insomnia, but it's not the only treatment, and it doesn't work for everybody. Even when treatment is successful, that's not always the end of the story. Sometimes insomnia can recur weeks, months, or even years later.
Old habits can be difficult to beat when the pressure never stops. Insomnia can go away for a while, but stress can bring it back. And that can mean looking for new ways to take control.
Since at least the 1940s, doctors have prescribed drugs known as sedative hypnotics to help people desperate for sleep.
Sedative hypnotics work by increasing a neurotransmitter called gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA for short. GABA in the brain is a sedative molecule. It's an inhibitor. It slows things down.
Some of the medications that I had been prescribed over the years put me to sleep. But the next day, I was really groggy. Not being able to think straight, not being able to articulate your thoughts. I felt worse than I would have if I didn't get any sleep.
Medications that boost GABA for sleep, they tend to help people fall asleep faster, and they may stay asleep longer. The problem is often that sleep can be shallower, and they may wake up very groggy, and they can have a lot of daytime effects. So during the day, you also get slowed reaction time, more injury risk, more memory and cognitive problems. Some of these medications have been shown to not only be addictive and habit forming, but over time, when you take them, they can become less effective and even accumulate additional side effects.
I was prescribed some pills that were efficient, but the side effects were not nice. And whether it be not being attentive or not being focused or not being awake, any of those things would annoy me more than not having sleep. When I didn't take it, I couldn't sleep. And it frustrated me because I lost control of my body.
It would be easier for both of us if there was a clear answer. Something that works just right every time. No journey necessary. No need to change what you do, how you do it, or how much of it you do. In a one-size-fits-all world, we wouldn't need to have this talk. But that's not our world. Instead, you may need to climb mountains. You may need to confront inner demons. You may need to battle misperceptions. In this world, there is no hero without the quest.
I started to really think about, like, what is the block against sleep? The thing that just recently dawned on me is that when I was 5, my father, who was a minister, was doing a sermon one evening, and the next morning, the cousins, we were all sitting at the table eating our oatmeal, and my mom had already said she was letting my dad sleep in, so she decided she was gonna go ahead and wake him up. She goes off to the room, and then she comes back, like, really quiet, but slow. She goes into the kitchen, and I hear my aunt screaming, and he didn't wake up. He died in his sleep. I can't believe that I've never made this connection. As far as I know, my dad was a healthy young man. He was 33. And he went to sleep and then never woke up. It's not like I feel like I'm afraid to go to sleep, like, oh my God, if I go to sleep, I won't. I don't have that. I don't really think about that. But there is probably an anxiety to fear that I don't even recognize anymore, that it's just so much a part of who I was since then. To have that clarity now, I know I need to change it. I want to change it because I feel like if I got a solid 8 hours sleep even for a week, I'd be like, whoa, what is this place, this world we live in, you know?
Begin to invite movement into the body, gently beginning to lift the gaze and open up the eyes.
I didn't sleep at all last night. It's especially ironic, maybe, that we're in this beautiful background and I was out in nature a lot yesterday and active all day and still wasn't able to fall asleep. But if you think all is lost because you've had a bad night, it will be. It's not gonna stop me from always trying. I know for certain that a meditation practice is not going to completely cure my insomnia. It hasn't cured the insomnia, it's cured the attitude.
Even if you're doing everything right, insomnia itself can recur over time. It's not the person's fault, but they're the only ones who could fix it.
If you make it a priority and think about what is the ideal time to get in bed, what time do I need to wake up? What do I need to create the best environment for me to sleep? Come up with a plan and implement it. And do that regularly, and your sleep will change.
Okay. I had an investor show up in Costa Rica last week, and we were lucky to get an appointment in San Jose with the next president. I drove him down there, 4 hours there and 4 hours back. I was dozing off or dreaming or whatever. I wasn't paying attention to the road. And it was a lot of curves. I ended up going off the road, and it was a wake-up call. Oh, I was terrified. They were right, and I should be concentrating on getting enough sleep, and maybe going to sleep at the right time, getting up at the same time, as they say when you're trying to readjust your sleep patterns. Is this for you?
No. This is Juliana.
Juliana. And it's working. I think I'm getting better, and it's also helping me relax, and talking about it helps too.
My two best tips for sleep are to create a good wind-down routine at night and a good morning routine to start the day. For the wind-down routine, you need to turn down the lights, you need to quiet your activities, you need to not do anything that's too engaging so that you're ready for bed by the time you get in there. Then in the morning, you want to make sure that as soon as you're awake and you're not going to fall back asleep, you get out of bed and you turn up the lights to get as much bright light into your eyes as quickly as possible as soon as you wake up, and pair that with movement.
Okay. Una aquí grande, póngala aquí una grande.
What that can do is it can send a daytime signal to your brain that not only can improve your performance and energy level during the day, but it can also help your body know when it wants to sleep at night. About 16 hours after you wake up is going to be about when your body's going to anticipate sleep. So if you make that wake-up time more regular, it makes that predictable bedtime even more regular.
Estoy muy sorprendida de que él se levantara temprano a ayudarme también a lo que es limpiar el área de los perros, dar de comer, y creo que los perros también están sorprendidos.
To try and get normal with my routine, get up early, go to bed early, will be beneficial to me. Getting up to help her.
Ahora puedo irme a pasear y sé que él va a ayudar a darles de comer a los perros.
Your sleep is part of the bigger picture of my role in life. It's a picture that includes dark edges we can't yet see beyond. But there are always new clues and discoveries to uncover.
There's so many things in terms of advancements in the sleep field. We now have commercial wearables that can tell us about sleep, mattresses that can tell us about, how long someone has been in bed. I mean, you can now get treatment in your home. We can actually take an individual's behaviors, their home environment, their neighborhood environment, take all of that under consideration and create a personalized treatment plan. There's certain populations that we know are disproportionately affected by insufficient sleep, what we call sleep disparities. In terms of insomnia, you encounter these different stressors, and these cause rumination at night. There's many steps that we can do as a society in order to eliminate sleep disparities. For example, you can think about our policies for school start times. We have to do a better job as a society to spread awareness around symptoms of different sleep disorders, and then also making sure that people have access to care and treatment for their conditions.
The development of new, safer sleep therapies and medications are promising to give hope to many of the people out there suffering from sleep disorders.
I do not object to taking medication. Of course, in a perfect world, we would not have to. We could do it all naturally. But I am always willing to try another medication.
On the medication side, there's really two different kinds of medications. There are the ones that work on insomnia by making you more sleepy, by increasing your sleep drive. And there's medications that work by decreasing wake drive. The insomnia medications that target the orexin system may actually have fewer side effects and also might be less habit-forming than the other insomnia medications. The orexin system is located in the hypothalamus, where it can easily regulate all the other wake-promoting areas in the brain. By reducing orexin levels at night, newer medications could effectively relieve these overactive wake signals and allow the sleep system to take over. This new science of treating excessive wake signals could provide new hope for many sleepers. I think society is starting to change its perspective on sleep. And I think doctors at the same time are also starting to realize that, hey, sleep disorders are worth paying attention to. I wish every doctor wouldn't just ask about diet and exercise. People should be asking, how are you sleeping? And how are you feeling during the day at every medical visit?
If you're not sleeping well at night and you're waking up tired and you're waking up grumpy, you're more likely to do something to harm yourself or others because you didn't get a good night's sleep. That's why this is all so damn important.
I've been playing for 18 years, been blessed. A lot of it is talent, God-given. But the next thing is I got the proper recovery. My body's stayed intact. That's a lifestyle thing. And sleep is at the forefront of the lifestyle.
Prioritizing sleep is important for everyone. And I think to prioritize sleep, you need to be disciplined. You need to protect that sleep.
If I knew somebody who suffered like I did and they did not have the support I did, I think that I would want to sit down with them and just have a heart-to-heart. This is real, and this is frustrating, and this is life-changing.
Still not good at sleep. I think this is the way my body is wired. I'm hoping before the end of the year I can get into a sleep specialist. So I'm very hopeful.
I'm getting up earlier and going to bed earlier and getting some good rest earlier. I feel different. I feel like more, energetic and actually happy.
I'd like to think that I could do more to take on my sleep struggles. If I could diminish the amount of things that I allow myself to say yes to, I know that would help.
I'm always interested in learning more and incorporating things to see if they work. One of the things that I've changed in my thinking is to remember in the middle of the night when I feel so alone that I'm not really alone.
The forces of life, creativity, clarity, and good judgment brought us together to let you recover and learn from your waking experiences. I don't want to control you. I don't want to be a source of conflict. I'm here to bring out your best. I want to be a part of your life you can trust. We can all see what happens when you sacrifice me. So instead, try making me a priority in your day. In turn, I will find ways to support you at night. Together, we can create a virtuous cycle for you to build your life on.